Good evening. We'll call the Dune City Council regular session to order, April 15th, 2026, at 6 p.m. We have all of the council and the mayor here except Larry, who is excused. He is out of town today. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, item 4 is consideration of the agenda. I would like to move one item up. I move item 10. To be between 9A and 9B, because I think 10 will be a brief discussion. It's just an introduction of a possible fireworks ordinance. It's not for approval. It's not a public hearing. We're just going to have a quick discussion, and then we can get back into the land use code, if that's okay with everybody. Okay. If that's acceptable, I need a motion to approve the agenda with such a modification.
So moved with the modification as stated.
Thank you. Anybody want to second that?
Second.
Thanks, Rich. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that was unanimous. And then item 5 is consideration of the consent agenda. All these items will be taken in one motion unless an item is pulled for discussion. It includes items 5A through G, meeting minutes of March 18th, meeting minutes of April 1st, the bills of the session from March 1st to March 31st, receipts of the session from March 1st to March 31st, profit and loss statement by class or by fund from March 1st to March 31st, a reconciliation, and budget to actual third quarter. That's just the state of where we are in the current budget, right? Okay. So, is there anybody who want to pull any of those items for discussion?
I'd like to pull letter F to discussion, reconciliations,
Okay.
uncleared transactions.
Does that have a page number on it?
Page 2,
It's this one. It says page
Who will
2, but
reconcile?
you
Gotcha.
can, yeah, checking account 2,
Okay.
10-100. Quite a few of them there, electronic fund transfers, checks, paychecks, general journal entries. A lot of companies, previous employees, pretty significant amounts. Concerns with that?
They're back from 2017. They're all uncleared items, and unfortunately, I'm not a books expert. They've been there again since 2017. I don't know how to clear them.
Gotcha.
I did ask for one of the auditors to see if they knew how to do that, and they stated they did not. So I did not ask the current auditor if they did know how to do that. I can't ask them that.
So are they actually uncashed checks, or they were something that was processed and we don't know how to clear them from
I think
QuickBooks?
they were somehow processed and then not been cleared.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're not outstanding debt or anything?
I mean, honestly, I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I doubt it, but I don't know for sure. And I don't know that they haven't been journal entry someplace else. I don't know if they've been accounted for elsewhere.
Yeah.
Without assuming, I would imagine that they've been accounted for, seeing as that some of them are pretty severe. I mean, I imagine that the IRS would be coming after us.
Yeah, well,
Had we
the
not paid
IRS.
some of those bills, or,
Well, and PERS and
Lane Council of
Yeah.
Government wouldn't be talking with us had we have had an outstanding account. Same thing with PERS, we wouldn't have coverage had PERS been, but I mean, I'd like to see that get cleaned up.
Okay.
It's a pretty substantial amount.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we'll continue to work on that. All right. Any other comments or questions?
And then money market account, I thought we were not having those anymore, which is the following page, couple pages later.
We
Page one.
moved the account from US Bank to, but we can't have it all in one account. So they're in basically three separate for FDIC insurance.
Okay. But we're allowed to have an account labeled money market?
Yeah,
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, anything that's not immediate need, if you can make higher interest, it's acceptable. That's one of the only
Sure.
things the government can invest in is something with a guaranteed interest rate. You don't do anything risky.
I just wanted to make sure.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Anything else? If not, I'd like a motion to approve the consent agenda. Thanks, Rich. Anybody want to second that?
Second that.
Thank you, Chris. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll abstain. I'd like to get the clarification on those transactions first.
Okay. Did you get that, Lila? All right, that carries. Item 6 is announcements and correspondence. 6A, I believe you got some references for our roofing contractor?
Yes, we called 5 references and basically 5 stellar references for opinion construction. Everybody said they did a great job, they were on time, they did what they said they were going to do, and basically, I can't imagine a better company, so.
Okay. All right, and then B was excess crime coverage quote, right?
Yes. So because the city had been behind in the audit, we just caught up last year, we do not, normally with our insurance, we do have a basic $50,000 in crime coverage, but that was taken away since we were not caught up on our budgets. So now basically, since we are, we can have that coverage back. And the base is $50,000, and the recommended is $300,000 for that. And the cost for that, though, at the $300,000 level is $1,100 for the year. So it's anywhere from $100 to $1,100. And again, anywhere from $50,000 coverage to looks like $1 million.
And the 300,000 was the 1,100 a year.
Yes. She couldn't give me a breakdown on, how much each one was, not until we gave her the paperwork, so.
Okay. And so the recommendation is because of the amount of money that's in the checking account, basically in the bank account. And it covered fraud, theft, so it would cover things like the employee took the checks to deposit and instead cashed a check and fled. In theory, it would cover that. So that's how they came up with their recommendation. Not that we believe we've ever had an issue with that, but, so I'll leave that to you guys, if you think it's needed or worth it. Any comments? No?
I mean, how much money are we talking about dealing with on just a monthly basis?
How much cash are
Less
in
than
your
500,000.
deposits?
How much cash deposits? Depending on the month. I think we did, $60,000 last month?
Those checks or cash?
Check.
Yeah, so leaving with a bag of cash is small, and then one of the busier months is when the annual read the meter, the admin goes out. That month or two after that, because you can pay in cash, you can pay by check, you can now pay by credit card online, set up your own account. But it would be if the same employee was going to the bank, I mean, the big risk would be if you could cash a check or withdraw money. And I think there's only 3 of us that are on the signature card, right? So for that to happen, the bank would have had to have not done something right on their end as well. But I am fleeing the country tomorrow, but I will come back,
I
I
think what
promise.
Rich is saying, what I was saying is, what's the risk?
Right. Well, that's why I bring it up. They said, it's something we have, this is how much money you have, we would cover basically all the money in the account for X. And so, yeah, I don't think we've ever had a problem. Things would have to go wrong at the bank's end for that to happen as well. We have a purchasing policy and a a limit to what the city administrator could do without bringing in meeting minutes and a letter from the mayor or something like that. In theory, they would check that. And they did the last time when we changed the signature card and made a change to the account. Susan and I had to appear. So yeah, I don't know that it's a high risk, so they gave us the number, so we put it on here for discussion.
That's a recommendation for our insurance, yeah.
Yeah. Which is always safe for an insurance company to recommend more insurance.
Is there any benefit to having the higher level versus the lower level?
Just that it would cover more of a loss if there
Like-
happened to be one.
If there was
But there's
fraud or
no
theft.
percentage deduction on, if we were to have a higher, say the 300,000, like we don't get a percentage cut off on our policy.
No.
No.
It's totally
Okay.
extra.
Right, it's just an
Yeah.
extra on top of all the other stuff we pay with the liability and all that.
And who can make the deposits? Just the three of you?
No, deposits, you can send anybody you want, so
Anybody.
somebody in the office will usually take checks to deposit on the way, just to drop them off.
I do that, I take that responsibility
Okay.
on. I know Becky has while I've been on vacation because there was something that accumulated quite a bit, and so she did that. But normally I'd go to the bank.
So if you're 60,000 to 100,000 is your major deposit, why would you insure for more than 100,000?
I think because we're liquid, we're more to 300,000 if somebody was trying to commit fraud or embezzlement.
Then they'd have to pull from our account,
Yes.
which is very unlikely since it's only.
If it's, yeah, that's, I think you're right. So, doesn't sound like anybody's too concerned, we'll pass on that. I mean, if anything comes up or you think of anything, we can always go back to the insurance for,
Well, if they're not going to give us a break on our
no, you don't get a break on anything
insurance
else.
rates, I
No.
don't see a,
Because the big was our liability, and it covers, employee accidents and things like that. That's the one that we spend more money on, and then they said, hey, you now qualify for this. You now qualify to give us more money for more coverage, since you finished all your audits and caught up. So-
And do you go in and verify that the deposit was made online?
Yeah.
So
All right. Fair enough. All right, item 7 is citizens' input for comments on any item not on the agenda, and I've got one yellow card from Jeannie Jackson, not on an agenda item. You would like to speak on treatment of residents at Dune City meetings?
I would. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
I have noticed that many meetings, and I have watched the last 3 or 4 over and over again, so I can make sure that I'm correct about what I've been noticing. I feel like there is a different treatment for women than men at meetings, and women are quite frequently talked over, interrupted, not allowed to finish sentences. Most of the men are regarded very warmly and able to speak at great length. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. They should be able to speak about their concerns. But I noticed like John Anderson, for instance, who isn't here this evening, but he often calls in or shows up to meetings. He can just go on and on and on where we can't even finish our sentences, especially if we're saying something that I believe the mayor does not want to be heard. I do think you're treating people differently. I looked at how you treat men. Only once did you interrupt Jack when he was speaking, and only once did you kind of question what Mr. Anderson was saying. It is a frequent problem for us, and I say this for other women here as well. I see you speak over and correct the counselors who are female, not let them finish their sentences. I find that very offensive as a woman, and I just wanted to point out the fact, before you go on too much further, and to be very aware of the need to treat us equally. I know you think what we say is nonsense, but that doesn't mean you have the right to not let us finish our sentence. I was trying to say something very important to me when you interrupted me at least 3 or 4 times at the last meeting, because you didn't want it to be heard, is my belief. And I don't appreciate that. I don't see you do it with many of the male versions. I do feel for Larry, because he gets talked over a lot, because anytime he disagrees with you, you treat him the same way. But I just wanted to point that out to you so you could be more cognizant of the fact and maybe a little more sensitive in how you treat those of us who come to meetings. And I frankly did not appreciate your April Fool's joke. You thought it was funny to say, there'll be no number 7. That is citizen input. And while I very much believe you would like there to not be citizen input, it is not a joke, and it was done at our expense. That doesn't sit right with the people who faithfully come to meetings and are listening, are hoping someone will listen to what we say. So I just wanted to make you more sensitive to those issues, because maybe you haven't done it intentionally, but it certainly appears that way to females in the room. And I feel for the 2 female counselors, I really do, because it's happened to them on multiple occasions. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you pointing that out. Thanks. Anyone else want to speak during citizens' input? Anyone? All right. Seeing no one, we'll go on to 8. 8 is reports. Mayor's report is 8A. Currently accepting applications. We don't really have an application form so much as a cover letter and resume for city administrator. Second item is, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, HB 4177 passed. That bill allows limited conversation between council members, between each other or council member to the mayor, as long as you didn't violate the open meeting law. You can't have a serial meeting, but you could ask questions, you could have conversation, get clarity on an item. And I thought it was a great bill. League of Cities supported it. The governor has considered vetoing that bill, and she is taking comments until Friday the 17th. That is the last day she can take action because it's in place already. So it's HB 4177. If you go to the governor, if you go to the website for the governor, I can't remember where I found it. I think it just says legislative, and it says currently taking comments. And then last, and probably most important, the 4th of July is on a Saturday this year, and as has been the tradition for some years, there will be a pie eating contest and a watermelon eating contest. And I'm not sure of the organization that ran that in the past, but the Chamber of Commerce was looking for somebody to help judge that and run that, so I volunteered you guys. Well, I volunteered, and I hope the council and potentially residents will join. They haven't given me any specifics. They said, we'll get you exactly what they did, the last couple of years, let you know how many people you need, that sort of thing. But
Is this the one down?
yeah, at the dock with the carnival.
The place down in the shopping center by the movie theater, the
Restore.
The Restore that did it before.
I thought they told me that's who was going to take it over, but maybe that's who used to do it.
I think that's who
Okay,
used to do it,
because-
and they've had a change
You're right.
of people who
Okay.
run the business now.
Yeah, so they put that out, and I said, tell me what you need, and she said, never mind, we have somebody. And then a couple of weeks later, she said, are you still interested? It fell through. So I believe you're right. I believe it was the Restore, and I'll have to figure out if it's one of the people that are still there. She said she'll put me in touch and hopefully give us whatever the need actually is. But yeah, it'll be next to the dock with the carnival and all that stuff on the 4th of July. So good opportunity, and I think a relatively low impact. So and then 8B and C are in your packet. Were those published as well? Okay.
Not the permit, because she just finished that.
Okay, so we have a permit report. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. There's 13 permits issued, 1 new build on Clearwater Cove, and 24 new or renewed business licenses, and a single short-term rental application came in the last 30-day period, give or take. And then the,
Mayor, I have a question.
yeah, go ahead.
On the short-term rental application permit, where is that one located? The new one. That's a new one, correct? Or is that
Yeah,
a renewal?
There's one of each on there.
The new one, where's the new one at?
The last one that I'm aware of is the 5450, I believe, Pluto's Promenade.
And is with us looking at the new, where we're potentially going to be discussing of not having too many in one central location, do we have any further ones in that generalized location?
I don't even know. And we need to change the ordinance before we could limit anybody. It needs to be, publicly discussed and posted, so.
Okay, just want to make sure we're thinking of
Yeah,
things like that.
yeah, I know. It's on our list of things to do. We got a lot of irons in the
Okay.
fire. I agree with you 100%.
Thank you.
Any other questions on that? All right, we don't need a vote or anything on those, right? Those are just for information. Okay, next item, 9, the annual budget. All right, this one, I have a script. Bear with me, I have to read some notes. So for the audience, the Budget Committee met, went through the budget in some detail. I think we had minor adjustments and corrections.
Did you want to list those?
Sure. Okay. There were 5 adjustments that were recommendations that came out of the Budget Committee, and that would be an annual staff wage increase by up to 5% as determined by the city administrator. So the increase amount is in the budget. Nobody's received a raise, but we proposed dollars in the budget. And then employees working over 17 and a half hours a week, or basically half-time, to receive a $300 a month subsidy to help with insurance. We have looked for a group insurance policy, and we can't afford it, or it's not available to us with the way we're structured. So we're looking at a health savings account potential, where that money would go in a health savings account if they have expenses or pay for an insurance premium, then they could take the money out of those accounts. So those need to be managed. Easy enough to set up an account, but there has to be a manager involved in those to be considered a health savings account, and then it's tax exempt. So we're looking at that as well. But that was the line item included in the budget. And then you have that pamphlet in front of you. And number 3 was increased garbage license fees to $3,000. We used to have 2 companies. We now have 1, but they bought the other, so they basically doubled the business with the same fee. And increase the city hall repair budget to $35,000, which covers the roof contract that we just got, or the proposal, so that'll take care of the dry rot and the roofing here. And then increase the newsletter budget, which is interesting. We used to have like $1,000, and we didn't spend anything, so we made it 0 because we were doing email for free. It's good news, we went over 100 subscribers, so we've got to pay to send to a few more. So it's only $200 a year increase, and we can go up to 500. So anyway, those were the adjustments in the budget. And so with that, I don't think we'll go through the budget in detail tonight, because the Budget Committee's done that, but we'll walk through the public hearing for the annual budget. So, Resolution Series 2026, number 2, April 15th, 2026, a resolution adopting the 2026-2027 fiscal year budget. That's the period from July 1st, 2026 to the last day of June 2027. I will now open this agenda for public comment at 6:25. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment on the resolution?
You're talking about the budget.
Yes, the budget resolution. Okay. All right. Seeing no one? No? No? Last chance? All right. I will close the public comment period at 6:26, 25 and a half. Councilors, I will now entertain any motion to amend the language of the proposed resolution, if any. Does anybody see any reason to adjust anything? Chris?
Nope.
Rich?
Nope.
No.
Okay, thank you. I will now entertain a motion to adopt Resolution Series 2026, number 2 of April 15, 2026, as proposed.
So moved.
Thank you, Susan.
Second.
Thank you, Rich. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. This has a part 2 in here, right? Or is that it? No, that's it for a resolution. Okay, well, that was easy. All right,
The other one, I don't think we'll get.
gotcha. Okay, thank you. So, we're zooming right along. All right, so 9, that was 9. We're going to go to item 10, review of potential ordinance 276. And as a reminder, this is a review. We will take public comment on potential ordinance 276 to ban fireworks other than professional fireworks within the Dune City limits year-round. So we've had a number of requests, and it can be scary to have fireworks in the forest. We did reach out to Siuslaw Valley Fire. They ran a report. We asked if they had reports of fires caused by fireworks, and they were able to go back to 2022, and they said potentially 1. They said they had 2 fires right around the 4th of July weekend. One of them was the RV that caught on fire here in front of City Hall, which was not caused by fireworks. That was caused by a faulty heater, propane heater. That was the only 2 things they could find in the last, basically, 5-year period. So with that, you have a potential draft of an ordinance in front of you that would eliminate those safe and sane, or whatever they're labeled at the grocery store, the legal ones, from the Dune City limits. Well, you guys mull that over. Anyone in the audience have any comments?
How would you handle that with short-term rentals or people that don't live here?
Well, the law is the law, I suppose, and I probably, if this passes, we could notify short-term rentals directly, because we have a database of short-term rentals, and say, you better leave a note on your counters that what gets bought in Florence stays in Florence. Light them off in the Safeway parking lot, because they sell them in Florence. And the fire department will respond. Right now, they respond to illegal fireworks. So if it's around here and you call, in theory, they'll come around, but they get overwhelmed. So I mean, to be perfectly frank, it's potentially one of those, it's against the law, but who's going to do anything about it? The sheriff's office is not going to drive out here for smoke bombs.
Ever ask Florence why they give a business permit to sell that?
I don't know.
How does Florence get any money out of that?
Sales tax and a permit to do it, I
They do
think.
have sales tax.
Well, no, they don't. That's a good question. I don't know that they do, because the grocery store sells them, and it's just, I don't think they have to get permission to sell shampoo or beer, so they
Yeah,
sell
they do.
fireworks during the
Yeah.
season.
They have to have a permit to sell those.
Fireworks
Yeah.
and beer, right? Liquor.
They're more,
and-
Well,
okay.
they're
it's,
more nuisance than revenue. Why do they do it?
I have no
understand
idea.
In cities that have a sales tax and.
And that's not really what we're going to solve, because that's Florence's thing. I don't think we
Well,
solve.
if we do. Sorry.
well, the thing is, I mean, there's already a ban on illegal fireworks. Why would we ban safe and sane when
Right.
there is not an issue
That's a good
that we
question.
can be proved right here? And why would we step on the toes of the citizens that deserve to be able to celebrate
Right.
the 4th of July in a safe and sane manner?
That's where I'm at.
That's my 2 cents on it.
100%.
So
Okay.
you can't use illegal fireworks, which is stuff that takes a permit to
Right.
run. So you can buy these safe and sane ones at Safeway or wherever else.
7-Eleven, right.
And I don't see the need for a ban on fireworks myself.
Okay.
I've talked to the marshal here, and it's a problem. But as you stated, you have to get you have to be there to arrest or to get the infraction taken care of.
Right.
It's a tricky deal.
Yep.
But my idea was there shouldn't be any fireworks because it's just common sense. I'm all for having fun, you know.
It's,
I'm not.
So you think there's a fire hazard?
Yeah.
Some years,
It's not
yeah.
fire hazard, huge fire hazard.
Well, and I think you bring up a good point. The fire marshal decides what the hazard is, and if they decide it's high or extreme, they start tacking signs on trees, no campfires, no fireworks, no, I mean, you get to a point where you're not supposed to mow your lawn after
It gets a
noon,
little crazy.
right? And so some years, I mean, in dry years, you can't have fireworks anywhere. You know, they get to decide. You're from here to there. Exactly. And so the problem is the signs go up and the Forest Service considers their work done, and this happens all over the West. This isn't unique to Oregon, right? And so, yeah, I mean, some years they are banned, and yet they still get sold because I think you can light them in a parking lot, you know, so yeah, I mean, we had some requests, we had comments, so we put it on here for discussion. There are a lot of small towns, this is easy to find, a lot of small towns just say none, and I know it still happens. Some of the small towns that have something similar also have small police department, which is probably overwhelmed on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of July, but,
Well, this says you can't even possess them, and what about people that buy them, live here, and then they're taking them somewhere else because they're traveling? They would be in violation.
I don't think we're
and I
going
don't
door
think
to
that's
door.
right.
well,
Do they do it at New Year's as well?
well, some people light them, but I don't think they sell, is that one of the seasons? New Year's, okay, so they do at the grocery store, they have the same, so they have like a 2-week season.
It's not a fire hazard typically at that time of year, but.
Right.
There is a huge problem with a private campsite here that's on 101, right next to Honeyman.
Yeah.
I was talking to the fire marshal about that, he's been there like 20 times.
Right,
It's an ongoing thing.
Right.
Those are illegal fireworks.
right, and that's outside the city limits, so
And
this
that's
wouldn't
outside
apply
the
there.
limit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it, but, you know,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, it's a little sneaky.
Yeah, a lot of the rockets are out in the sand dunes, right on the other side of the highway. You hear them, and you don't know where they're landing, and they're outside the city limits. That's always a challenge.
I don't know, I do the fireworks show down in Lakeside every year, and I'm here to tell you, you want to talk about a fireworks show. The fireworks show that's being put on by the professionals for the city is nothing in comparison to what the people are putting off on shore.
Where?
It's pretty impressive.
Where?
At Lakeside. And I've been doing that show for probably 8 years, and I've never seen a fire, ever. So, I mean, I'm not disagreeing that you think that there's a fire hazard, I just don't think there is as much as what you think there is.
I don't see it as a fire hazard, it's just, for us, they come down on the dock right there on the county dock, and it's the noise and the nuisance and the disrespect. I don't think it's a fire hazard.
Yeah. Jeannie? Yeah, you had a hand behind you.
No, I had wanted to just say, as someone who, Jimmy and I, of course, lived here for years, all our life, as did our parents and grandparents. We once owned Goat Island out in the middle of Silker's Lake, and we used to allow Dune City and the people of Westlake to set off their fireworks off Goat Island because it could be seen beautifully around the lake. Until one year, they had to have it, Rich, you have been very safe and conscientious, I want to compliment you. But they used to get pretty ripped when they were out there, and they would drink, have a good time, we knew, because we found all the beer bottles and stuff afterwards, back in the days of glass bottles. And they set the island on fire one year so badly. My dad said, well, I hate to say this, because I love Westlake, we were still Westlake then, I think it was Dune City, I don't know. This happened, it must have happened in the 70s or the 80s when it was by then, Dune City. Anyway, they set the island on fire. And my dad said, well, I hate to say no, but, you burned the top of the island. And we had fruit trees up there, things that had been there for years. Life on that island went back to the days of indigenous people. Many people that lived out there refused to find arrowheads. And just saying, yeah, they set the island on fire, and this was the city themselves. They weren't as responsible as you, Rich, and obviously they were drinking. And my dad, who, he drank a little for social occasions, but he wasn't much of a drinker. He was upset that they had been so careless with the fire. Island fire, thank God it didn't burn. But it is a problem.
Yeah.
And you're right, Susan, it's quite a problem for people in Westlake. It's just awful in noise and the gunshots. It isn't just happening on 4th of July, it goes on for like a month or all summer sometimes. And you can't sleep. Anyway, thank you for addressing that.
Thanks.
I'd like to point out that it's not just fires, it's the percussion. You have people with animals who freak out.
Oh, yeah.
All up and
Well,
down, everybody in
yeah.
the neighborhood,
Yeah,
right?
something like it.
You've got people with PTSD who, when they hear an explosion, it affects them. So, in my opinion, putting a ban on fireworks, it's not going to solve the problem, but it could help. Could possibly help in those situations.
Yeah, and this, the proposal, because those are already illegal, this is for the legal fireworks you can buy at the grocery store, because the others are already illegal, and that's part of our challenge. It's a paper tiger mostly. You can waive it and say that's illegal, but
Right.
that may or may not do you much good on the third or fourth or the
Again,
fifth.
just like with many things, I think if you put it to a vote in the community, I think it would be overwhelming. People don't like the
But
bullets and the fireworks.
it still wouldn't be enforced, though, is my point.
Yeah, so.
So I understand what you're saying, but are then we going to go after the hunters in the wintertime that are shooting from October clear through the end of 1st of February? I mean, that's
Yeah.
not much, not too terribly much different.
And I think hunting is a completely separate thing. Hunting isn't fireworks at midnight with explosions until 2 in the morning. It just isn't.
It's 5 in the morning on Sunday.
Yeah, you're
Sunrise.
You're the duck guns. It is what it is, right? This is Oregon, and people hunt. But to have fireworks and explosions at all hours of the night, and not just on 4th of July. And once they have their stockpile of fireworks, I mean, they go until they're gone. So it's day after day after day. We see it right across the lake, coming from specific houses, and we call the fire department, and they do not come. So I think that if people that are doing it, their neighbors are like, hey, they passed the law, you shouldn't do it, it's not going to stop them, it's going to make them think. It's going to make them hopefully a step in the right direction, maybe, for life.
That's the whole thing, it really won't stop them, of course not, but just the verbiage or a little sign on each of these 3 signs that Dune City has up, it's just a visual. Is it gonna stop? No. I think it's a good idea. I really do.
Thank you.
I think the timing on this is a little bit off. I don't like it, then I vote no, I'm gonna vote no on it. But I think the timing's off. This is the 250th anniversary of our country. And since the first year of our first anniversary, we've celebrated with fireworks. I was on that island when it caught on fire. I was one of the guys drinking beer out there.
Well, geez,
It wasn't that bad a fire. And it was Sayusa Rod and Gun Club to put that on, which I was part of it in that day.
you just outed yourself there.
It was fun.
So there's guns and fireworks and beer.
I just think, for that reason, I think this is a poor time of the year with the 250th celebration of our country coming up. You're going to have more than you had last year, and nobody's going to stop it.
And it's a Saturday. This is going to be a big,
It's going to be
it's the
crazy.
perfect storm, right? It's a
It's gonna be
Saturday,
crazy.
250th.
The other thing I don't like about this is you say, kind of put a sign on the welcome to Dune City signs around. It's given, to me, it gives it a feel of a HOA, and I don't like that. I don't think it's enforceable. I think the ones that are creating a problem are already outlawed, the safe and sound ones. I've got a big package of them for my grandkids, and we're going to be using them. I don't think this is right fit for Dune City.
Okay.
I'll vote no on it.
All right.
I agree.
Thank you.
I just think it's unenforceable.
It would be a challenge.
Police force, who's gonna go around and say, oh, you got neighbors, telling on neighbors and fighting with each other?
Yeah.
I think it's just,
What would be the impact to Igor is what I'm thinking. If you drive him out of his job or?
No, he would drive around and say, I talked to 12 people, and we had 73 complaints. I mean, and you have that in the big city. I came from a big city that had 600 police officers. They said, we don't get to have 2/3 of the calls. So that's the reality, you
I
know?
totally get
It's-
it. I mean, you can't enforce it.
It's tough, yeah.
It's just an idea. That's
Yeah.
Something to put in
And-
mind.
And I think, Chris, you mentioned, you know, hunting's been around a while, but fireworks go back a few thousand years. You know, it's been used to celebrate for a long time, and that's one of our realities. I mean, whether we agree with it or not, it's tough.
Yeah, but not everybody can go to Safeway and buy them.
Right, yeah. The other challenge is having so much unincorporated Lane County and the sand dunes across the street that they're coming from every angle, and, you know, Dune City's in the middle, and it's, you know, it's paperwork that I don't think any of those folks will recognize whatsoever, but, you know, we promised a discussion, and,
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
It's all good.
all right,
I get it.
thanks.
Have they seen a reasonable ordinance or they'll too much?
Well, pretty much you either ban them or you don't. Either the legal ones are legal or they're not, because all the illegal are already illegal, you know, I mean, at the state level. And then unless you're a professional, you know, you do an event and you get a fire marshal permit and liability insurance and all that, and I don't think we've ever had an issue with that.
And I start fires every year. On my dock.
The difference on Rich's show is, it's fun to go out there, you know when it's gonna start,
Sure.
you know when it's gonna stop, and he's not gonna do it at 3 in the morning.
Yeah,
So it's fun, it's not, the other one's not so fun.
yeah. All right.
Can I ask a question about that?
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned that the fire marshal will come, or somebody will come when there's illegal.
Sayuzla Fire, in theory, will. So the fire marshal regulates, and then here, they have the authority.
Because I've asked them multiple times when there's been illegal fireworks near us, because I am afraid of the fire danger, and,
Don't come.
yeah, they don't come. And then the last thing I heard from them was call the sheriff, and when I call the sheriff,
Yeah, that's.
They'll say, "Go to our-"
yeah, they say,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're too busy." And I said,
Right.
"Can I give you the address and check on it when you have time?" "No, we're too busy." We're gonna be too busy,
Right.
so.
So I think this would generate potentially more of those, and that's part of their challenge is, what's the highest risk? You know, where do we put our resources? And,
Well, hopefully we
Yeah.
have a good season this year.
yeah,
We don't have a problem. It's,
right.
I don't want to see it burned down
No.
to San Diego.
Me neither. I'm with you. Chris, any comments?
In addition to everything else, I think the only people who would follow this are the responsible ones, and they're not the ones we're worried about, so.
Right, like most laws.
Right.
Yeah.
But if
It's not the law-abiding citizens that are
people
going
are
to
visiting, or they just say, I'll deal with it when the police show up, they're gonna be out there at 2 in the morning, do whatever they want anyway.
Probably.
We're gonna be shutting down maybe families or people who are just doing small little fireworks in the
Right.
front yard.
Right,
That's not what
I
we're going
agree.
after. So.
thank you. Rich, anything else?
I'm done.
Okay, Susan.
No.
Melissa? Anything? Duke?
I've said mine.
All right. Okay, so this was just for discussion tonight, right? So,
And I guess the question is, are we saying we do not want to move forward? or-
I guess we could take, right, it wasn't on here for action. I think you could take a straw poll and decide whether it belongs on a future agenda. Anybody want to see this on a future agenda?
I think Larry's the one that brought it up, wasn't it?
Yes.
I'd like to get
Yes.
his input. I don't know if we can do that on the side or something, but he may have some,
Well, if he's the only yes,
yeah, just, if he is passionate about it.
okay.
it's
We'll brief Larry when he
unfortunate
gets
to make his
back.
case.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We can do that. So, yeah, I don't think there's a burning, pardon my pun, there's no burning desire tonight. Scratch that. There's no desire tonight. But, yeah, we can talk to Larry. And if he's got something else to add to that changes your
You'll
mind.
sway all of
Okay.
us.
Fair enough, right, because this wasn't for action, and so we'll just keep it in the back of the packet, we can put it on the next meeting. We're just looking at that agenda. All right, that will take us to item 9B, reopen, right, we're reopening the public hearing on modifications to Chapter 155, the land use ordinance 275. So I have two comment cards. Would you like to speak first? I mean, we're going to go through the ordinance page by page now and see if anybody has comments. So I don't know if you want to chime in when we get to that section, or if there's something you want to say first. I have both Geneva and Jeannie Jackson. I have a card from. I'll leave.
Maybe if you start, I'll go first. I sent you guys.
Yes, we do have a letter related to this item.
They should all have that up there.
We have it.
Yeah, we do.
Do you have colored?
Yes, we do.
You have colored ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went and paid that colored one, because the color makes all the difference in the world.
We have that.
And it's in the packet in color, right? So if you view it, it's in color there too. I mean, online.
Online, yeah.
Yes,
Under communications.
yes. So was there anything you wanted to say about that right now? Here we go. There's mine.
Yeah, I'll just take a gander at this. I think that when it happens, just go in one day and go into the next, you don't really get a good call. You don't really, you see a trend, but you don't know how massive it is. And the reality is that the amount of development that's happened since 2017 and now has really picked up. And over the last couple of years, it's just amazing. You look at this. So really, we have a lot to think about. So I'm just going to read my little 2-minute speech, and then we can go.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I'm here to address the Dune City Council regarding the adoption of Ordinance 275's proposal on pace and safeguards around development. First, I'm asking the council to require a legal review by a board-certified land use attorney for items of concern, especially water quality and wetland protections. Our community has already experienced legal appeals from LUBA when residents believed erosion controls were not adequate to prevent harm to city's water. If protections are unclear or too weak, we are both environmental and costly challenged. Second, please strengthen the standards for setbacks, steep slopes, and natural buffer requirements. Construction on steep or unstable slopes can cause long-term public safety and stormwater problems. And where projects are near water or sensitive areas, buffer zones are a nice thing to have. They reduce runoff and protect the resilience of our dunes and wetlands. Third, I'm concerned about accelerating growth faster than our infrastructure can support, especially without impact fees that ensure that developers help pay for the true costs of growth. The 2024 survey also showed strong community preferences. Over 80% of respondents wanted the population to stay at no more than 2,000 within 10 years, and 93% did not want ADUs approved for vacation rentals. Those results should be reflected in policy decisions. Finally, road and access safety needs to be non-negotiable. Proposed road requirements should align with adopted fire and life safety codes in coordination with a contracted fire service provider. Please do not reduce traffic study requirements in a way that affects daily travel and, most importantly, emergency response. And I urge council to be cautious about giving away city right-of-way to developers if that reduces safeguards for trees, access, or public safety. In closing, I'm asking you to, one, obtain qualified legal review on the high-risk sections. Two, strengthen wetland slope and buffer protections. Three, align the growth policy with infrastructure capacity and consider impact fees. And four, keep the strong access and traffic standards in place. And you also know that I'm very concerned about tree coverage because of its really important effects on our natural environment, including water, soil, and protection that have all to areas that have already suffered damage. And you can see all the development, and you live near some of these places. We've had people here at the city talking about the soil from their neighbors' lands coming down onto their property. And this is going to be happening all the time if we're not more careful with these permits. And that's really all I have to say.
All right, thank you. Jean, did you want to go now?
I share a lot of the same concerns my sister has, and I'm concerned about these people too who all live in Westlake, on the Hill, or many of them do. And it seems like there is such a quest to move ahead with this council. And I know you need money. I know that the city is in great financial need. But to do it by developing areas and cutting down trees and changing the place that we all love so much and have lived here for generations because of it. And we lived here, and you could buy a house for $50,000. Now you can get one for $500,000, and that's happened in our neighborhood, and it's really affected the prices for all of us. So it's just people like developers and people who want to come in and make a lot of money who are buying these homes, not the sweet families who used to live here and actually make it a nice place to live. And that concerns me very much. And, I know that you are all aware of that too, the rising costs of everything. But real estate has just gone crazy. And it's very unfortunate for the people who live here. And I would like to think as a council, I know some of you do really care about the residents, I would like to think that you would care a little more about us than the city's need for money. And I hear this concerns me, Duke, that at the last meeting, you talked about, what a wonderful job the planning commission has done, and how it's been thousands of hours of work, how amazing it is. But you also talked about all the problems, hundreds of different issues and problems. There are. And I would like to think you care enough about us as you do about the planning commission. You're so worried about hurting their feelings, you don't seem to even care about the people you represent in a way I wish you would. And some of you do. I very much appreciate those of you who have been supportive, but we're not speaking about everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. So these are comments specific to Ordinance 275, and I want to touch on them for a second. Geneva, you pointed out you would like a legal review by a board-certified land use attorney. There are no board-certified attorneys. That's for doctors and surgeons, but
Okay, well, that's perhaps not the best choice, but we know that there are specialists, and that's what we're talking about.
Okay, so our attorney works for, we have two. One works for government law. That's all they do is cities and maybe some small counties. And then the other that reviewed this in particular, we have a planner and an attorney that work for Lane Council of Government that are professional. That's all they do is government. They work in Lane County. They are experts. So this has been the entire thing, not just sections, but the entire thing's been reviewed by that attorney and planner. Are you raising your hand, Rapunzel?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So the attorney changes that were made early on,
Yes.
the attorney who made those was a land use attorney from our private attorney.
From
Gary Darnell?
No, not Gary Darnell's office.
Yeah, the comment came
From government law group.
Okay.
She was a land use attorney.
Right.
And the one that came after her was also a land use attorney.
Right. All right, so we are. I mean, to answer your question,
Yeah, so
they're
at
experts.
the last meeting, you spent quite a long time talking about this person who's been disbarred here and associated with this. So That's what I.
That was the person that was in the audience that represented themselves as an attorney that said we had some flaws. They didn't work for the city, they worked for a private property owner here. And they may have provided a little bit of misinformation. That's why I spent that time at the last meeting. Second, we haven't done anything to lessen the requirements for setback, slopes, or buffer. And on our list of things to do is Chapter 154, which is erosion, and that covers tree coverage, erosion, steep slopes. So that's where the action steps are, or is in Chapter 154. And so that is on our list of things to come back in front of the council and the public to talk about making some meaningful revisions there when we get through this. And then third, we're not looking into impact fees because we don't own any infrastructure other than the road network. All the water and wastewater is private or small community systems, and impact fees, there's a whole process to calculating how you would charge that fee, when you would charge the fee, and then you typically have 5 years to spend it. So if you say we have a fee for water, you have 5 years to build the water system to that particular. So we have no impact fees. We're not looking into impact fees. That would be completely separate from the land use chapter. That needs to be its own freestanding analysis. Third, the tree coverage map that we talk about is really a plan of what is on a parcel, and where it's included in the land use code is in the mapping, and it doesn't affect building permits. So that was the recommendation. The reason the recommendation was to take it out of here, but to put it somewhere else. That's the recommendation. It's gotten a lot of discussion about we eliminated tree maps. It belongs in 154, because right now it shows up for, correct me if I'm wrong, PUDs, parcel maps, and partitions. So it's in the mapping process. You show where the trees are when you propose a division, but later, when you pull a permit and build a home, it has no effect. And so we want to change that, put it in 154, where you show, like, I would like to see buffers on all the property lines and steep slopes and water courses. John brought up the riparian. That's already 50 feet. That's state law and city ordinance. We don't propose to change that whatsoever.
That's solid, you're good with that.
50 feet from ordinary high water. We started a discussion about ordinary high water, and in the back of this packet, I have a slideshow on how that is measured and what it looks like, and the discrepancy between the map and the dam, and it's the datum difference. I had a licensed surveyor out, take some shots there, so we could compare. And the 12 that's on the map for Silk Coos is also that approximately 8.5 on the staff gauge at Darlings, because Darlings was built in the 20s and 30s, and it's the old 1929 datum, and the new maps are all on 1988, and so they're about, it turns out here, 3.64 feet exactly different.
Real quickly, if there's a stream, from the center line of that stream, there's a 6 foot?
Streams are different, but the riparian, the lakefront, is the 50.
Okay, that's a 50-foot.
Yes, and then
What about a year-long?
is it year-round stream or seasonal? So,
Year-round.
do you know off the top of your head, Rapunzel? Because we didn't propose any changes to water courses, that's it.
I think it's 50 feet.
I think it is too, if it's year-round.
It's measured from top of bank.
I
Right,
think it's actually more than that. I think it is, because the property that we have, we had to do a setback of
okay.
we had to have a lot more than 50 feet
Okay,
warehouse.
so that wasn't proposed to change either. Those are, I think those are in state law, and we weren't proposing any changes to any of that. And there are a lot of moving parts. And to Geneva, to your point, there has been development. These are all privately owned parcels, some built by homeowners, some built by speculative builders, but nearly 100% of the property in Dune City is owned by the public. I mean, the city has very small land holdings and no proposal to do any development on those pieces. So you will see development, but we are ultimately not going to be a very dense city. We have 1 acre minimum lot size, and we don't drive the process or the pace. The land use ordinance exists, so if we don't modify it, there will continue to be the exact same development you've seen under the old ordinance. Go ahead.
I
actually, what you just said to Geneva, I don't believe is accurate. On number 8, on page 8, about before, for the council and the planning commission, that is absolutely a new development you want to do in an area that was always considered unbuildable because of its special issues. And so.
We're talking about
That's an unbuildable area. You were
Right.
built on, and you said you can do it.
we were going to have a footpath for use of open space, so you could go look at the birds when the water's low. That's all that's was ever talked about there.
Well, that's not what it says. Go to page 8.
8 or 80?
Page 80.
Okay.
Number 8 on page 80.
Okay.
Where that was slipped in.
Okay.
Very recently, and that was never permitted before. And I don't like it, and the planning commission ignored me about it, and we seem to be ignoring us. That concerns us very much, and you said to Geneva, nothing like that is happening. Well, that's happening. So that's still concerning. Thank you.
Okay. I'll see if I can find that.
I still have some concerns about the city giving away city right-of-ways to developers because they want, and when that happens, that's when
Is there
things go.
is there a specific piece of right-of-way you're speaking of? I don't know where we've given any right-of-way away. We can't. It's public right-of-way is owned by the public and managed by the local entity. If it's a city street or a county street or a state highway, public right-of-way is not bought or sold. It has to be vacated, and it goes to the person that dedicates it.
Previous recorders did that several times.
I was here for one of those meetings where they shut down the road, and even though this is.
So we're talking about in the past, not anything we're proposing to do right now, to be clear, because I was confused. Okay, I can't speak for what might have happened in the past. And then I want to take a look at page 80. So my page 80 doesn't have a number 8. Maybe it's 81. I started at 20.
Is it page 7?
Mine has a number 7, 5.
Maybe I have a different copy. I brought this up at other meetings. I don't know. I have to have the copy right here, but I was pretty sure it was.
Yeah, it depends on when you printed it. Sometimes you're page 5. 7, yeah, it's my 7.
But that's the one where I talked about doing
page?
bike
Page.
trails and overlooks and areas, and there certainly was an intention to develop it.
That's what I'm
talking about. We talked about that before.
That's my 80.
Yeah, and this is my 80.
I have a copy with me.
My 80 has
I think it's in mine.
That's my,
Yeah, you see it there.
I think it says installation of public park facilities
Yeah.
by the city includes bicycles and hiking paths. pathways,
What page are you on, sir?
Picnic areas.
What page are you on?
Page 80, number 8.
Big baby number 8, that was what I.
Under what number? 155 point,
At the top.
155, 2.5, wetlands overlay zone.
what subsection?
I don't have that section at all. Mine doesn't say that.
This is different from what we had.
Yeah, I apologize, we all have different versions that are printed, so we're like, what subsection?
Yeah.
I just didn't know what subsection
I'm
it
in
was.
155.2.5.
So 170, thank you.
Dot
Okay,
170.
thank you.
I think we'll probably be able to different copies.
Page 170?
No, it's 155.2.5.170. Prohibited, that's prohibited acts. And there is no 8, mine ends at 5. Do I have the wrong page? That's 170, I only go to 5.
And it's under 155.2.5.160?
160.
Yes.
Number 8, the maintenance of culverts and roads.
It should be before that. Have you version of it?
I have stream bank stabilization.
So I have it on 160 in number 8, yes. Allowed activities within the wetland protection areas. It's on page 78 if you have my version.
Bring it up before, and then none of you object.
My page is different than yours. I don't have that. That's a new edition?
I couldn't tell you which one edition mine is.
What color is it in? Blue? for black.
This was the copy Lila gave me.
I have all colors.
Geneva.
170.
I'm on page 78 of 259. And then your number 8 will be on page actually 79.
Well, not really,
Yep.
it's just a matter of.
I have a different eight. I don't have the same one. Okay.
When Henry did the.
What's your new numbering
Hold on,
say?
I can't even say it.
Yeah.
He got ready for the last public hearing.
So is it this one?
155.2.5.
I tried to limit the track
160,
changes
so,
because
yeah, this one right
I
here.
think it was hard to read.
So then you'll go on to page, your page 80 should have it.
That's what I was on, it's my page
Yes,
80. Yes, that's where I was, okay.
Dark red,
That's what I'm doing.
so I tried to make it 3 colors.
I don't get it.
Okay, well,
It's really not that big a deal.
no. Okay, thank you for your comments. So last meeting, we decided we'll just start at the beginning and go page by page, and if we get to something, raise your hand or make a noise.
I'll start off by saying I have requests that I've gathered here from the public, and as we get to them, I'll just read them
Okay,
in.
perfect. Oh, and I think, Jeannie, one of the other things you said was that we're doing this to make money. I promise you we are not. We are doing this to clean up an old ordinance that is out of date and out of touch and has some violations of state law and potentially federal fair housing. No, zero. There's nothing's, I disagree.
And certainly you're developing that area for the grant.
Okay, I want to be clear, that's your opinion, because we have no grant or grant application or grant money.
Okay, well, I know Jamie was trying to do that, and we seem to be following.
And we have, and she was not successful, we have no money, there is no grant, and there is no project.
But I was told by Rapunzel it's still in there, because I objected to it to the planning commission when it was page 80, number 8. And she said it was still there, when she was passing it on to you.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to remind you.
I have it marked to look at in detail, so just.
Yeah, when we get to
Let's
it.
get there, and that way we can dive
All
into it a
right.
little bit further.
Sounds good.
Let me get to page 1, so. Sorry.
Page 1 is just the sections.
So any comments on page 1? I haven't even got there yet.
Oh goodness, we're starting.
I've got a
No,
bunch of notes. Okay,
that's just the very beginning section.
Yeah, that's just the index, so there's not.
no comments on 1. All right. Everybody down there good on 1? 2.
No.
There's a lot of blue and red if you have the
Yes.
track changes on 2.
Perhaps we should go by section, as we all have appearance of different copies.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
Yeah, we go by
I have
numbers.
260 pages, you have 250.
Okay, 155.1.1, how to use development code. Is there anything on this page that gives you heartburn? There's been a lot of wordsmithing to clean up phrases and agree with current terminology.
I'm good.
And I just want to be clear, I know it seems like there's many versions, but the problem is when we have made changes, things have adjusted, right?
Right.
Page-wise.
Right.
Right?
Understood.
Because we've been continually changing it
Yeah, it was
with each
given-
meeting.
Thank you. It was
So-
given to us at a planning commission meeting, so maybe we got a different copy there than what we got.
I have the original copy that came in, when you could go online and find it when the first book there came out, that's the only one
Right. And then we.
And I think I have the
hearings
the
from
same.
I have. Yeah, I've read all
Planning
those, but I
commission,
didn't
and
read
those
it.
changes were added to this, so things are going to be a little off just because of.
Yeah, there's been some things in and some things out, and
I'm sure
And
we can
because
figure
when
it out,
you
we're smart people.
track change,
Thank you.
right, you eliminate and then you add, right, so things get.
And those were the
get
copies we
added.
gave to Geneva and me, so I'm sorry if you have.
Red's out,
copies,
blue's
I
in.
don't mean to be confused.
correct,
Yeah.
Yeah.
correct. If you're looking at a color copy, the
Except
blue
I
is
have
the
one
additions.
that's crossed, somebody crossed out the blue in, so.
Well, that means one of those revisions was, never mind, strike that.
Okay.
It was an addition
And
that
somebody
we-
wrote a date
we-
on it for me, so,
That went,
That
it
was
went
me.
back out.
That's my writing. That was done at the planning commission.
okay, I just,
I may have a little problem. The public comments that I've got wrote down here were, they copied them from, they had the page number on it. So I won't give, track
Yeah,
that
we'll-
just by,
We'll get close.
Okay.
Bring it up when you get a page
when I
before.
take them close, all right,
Because I got one less page than she does,
all
so.
right.
So we're at 155, 1.1. Bless you.
Bless you.
Dot 2, dot 3, dot 4, dot 5, and dot 6. These are all just describing what's in each division, so they should be accurate as to what is in that section now. So the title may have changed or something like that. Anybody have any issues? If not, we'll go to 155.1.2, general administration. All the sections were renumbered. This is references to the sections that they go with and reference to the comprehensive plan.
And then I just want to say on my memorandum, there was about the fees and costs in paragraph A, the deposits required.
Yes.
There's a comment made, and what the attorney said, and then Rapunzel said, made a statement as well. So I don't know if you want to go through those at the
Yes,
same time.
we should bring that up, yes. Do you have that right in front of you? There we go, I have your memo. So the first, in your memo, the first comment is from our attorney. The second in that is from Rapunzel. And the third is from the private attorney that was working for the private property owner.
Not attorney,
Oh,
planning person.
gotcha, not attorney. That was where some of the confusion came from. So the attorney's recommendation is state that no application is accepted unless required deposits received. Technically, if application is accepted, regardless of whether the fees or deposits received, the 30-day completeness clock begins, and that is driven by state law. So that would mean it's an incomplete, you don't accept it, it's incomplete, including the fee. Does that make sense to everybody?
I'm definitely in agreement
Because
with that.
there's basically a 30-day shot clock under
Correct.
state law. So you don't want to accept the packet and say, oh, I'll get you the money. You're bound. If you don't review it, it gets approved. It's deemed approved,
Correct.
and you don't get paid for it. So it's a double black eye. All right. And
So no
then-
that's
matter
being
what they turn in,
implemented.
the 30-day clock starts, is that what you're saying?
No, only if you accept it as complete. So don't
Okay.
accept it
So don't
without
accept
complete, including payment. Because that wasn't
So it
noted.
wasn't clear.
You send it
Yes,
home
okay.
with them and
That was
come
his
back with
statement
these
was-
additional things.
Yeah, so
That's all I wanted to make sure.
Making sure the required deposits received as a point of clarification.
And that's going to be put in here, correct? Because that was one of my questions.
It is.
It is now, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it says requires a deposit.
Yes.
Number A, deposits
Yep.
required.
Okay, just to make sure.
Okay, so, any other questions or concerns on that?
So I had one thing, it says all such sums remaining due to the city will be set as a lien against the property until fully paid. Perhaps not the correct section, but what is our lien? Do we need to set that somewhere? Because we have all of these, we have a few other liens out there that we're all aware of that are, $5 a month. I mean,
No, this isn't, a lien against a property would be the full amount owed is a lien on the property, not a payment plan.
so
I
this
think
is
we
not-
have some where we agreed to take payments like
Correct.
fish greens, but the lien, I think the liens we've recorded have been like the tree cutting and the appeal, and then they said, we'll take care of it, and they didn't, and there was a recorded lien. So when they try to sell that property, we'll be made whole 100% plus the
Okay.
recording fees and that sort of thing, that the staff
Perfect.
cost.
Thank you.
So yeah, when it says all sum, that includes the expenditures defined, be staff cost, the cost of
Got it.
recording a lien. and
Thank you for that
legal fees.
clarification.
Okay. So that's all in 110. Any other comments in 110? That's 110, sorry, A. 110B has minor revisions. Let's see, I don't think we had any attorney comments from our attorney or Rapunzel.
That was 140B, so that's a couple pages. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
the next comment we had was 155.1.2.140B, which is on the next page.
Oh, wait, where do you jump to 140?
He's going through the comments on
Yeah,
this
and
page.
the memo where
So
we
he's
had,
jumping to
like,
one.
attorney comments, they were pointed out.
But
So
I had a
unless
question
somebody
on
has
one-
some-
I had a
okay.
question on 155.1.2.130.
Okay, go ahead.
Page
Use of a
28.
development. I put on here, do we need this because it is a common sense? Development shall be used for a lawful use. Why is that something we have to point out? A lawful use of a development is one that is allowed by this code.
I think because when you don't state that, somebody says, where does it say I can't do that? It comes up once in a while,
Oh, gosh, common sense people.
right?
Okay. Forgive me, but common.
It's probably not the people you hang around with.
Well, I don't want to say that. I want to make sure it's just very
You know what I
clear
mean?
out there for
Yeah.
everybody. So, okay, thank you.
Okay, that was 130. The next was 140, where we had a comment at the end of B.
And I was just going to clarify on the question, the last part where like Rapunzel was saying is the application is received by the city. Is that not including that second blue section, so long as the application is deemed by the city to be complete when first received, or after that last received?
Well, then, I'm assuming it's after the first received, because it says the application is received by the city. The other part is just the application is received.
Because it just sounds like redundant. Okay, so it's received by the city, period.
And then period.
Oh, period.
Thank you. Okay.
Because we don't have to presume it's complete, it's not accepted if
It
unless
just
it's...
sounded very
Got it.
redundant to
Okay,
me.
so that was
Okay.
a simplification. Got it.
Thank you.
That makes sense to me. Does that make sense to everybody else? It's in the memo and it's part of the blue. Take part of that new blue out. Take out the so long as
Okay.
blah, blah, blah. And then the very end was the old language in red that was stricken. All right, that takes us to 150. We had a comment from our attorney under certificate of occupancy. So 155.1.2.150A is the definition of building permit. Building permit, e.g. structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, are required as defined by 155 of the code, or sorry, 151. B, certificate of occupancy. Now, on the first part, the attorney says, I agree with the comment, and I don't know what their comment was. The letter is correct, as this provision appears to say that the standard and criteria applied to application might change if the application is not deemed complete when received or made complete within 180 days of its reception. The standards and criteria in effect at the time an application is accepted are dispositive throughout the process of the application until it becomes void. Secondly, 180-day limitation runs from the time the city issues its completeness check, or 30 days, whichever comes first, not from the time the application is received.
I think it's just the wording change from may to shall. They say to use shall because it's a
Gotcha.
mandatory.
Got
And
ya.
may is a discretionary term.
Okay, you're right. So we got a lot of words here to say,
I think they're saying
Say
move it
shall.
back to may, or move it back to shall, meaning that it has to be done, is how I interpret that.
okay, I'm okay with that. Everybody? Does that make sense, Rapunzel?
It's fine. The land use attorney is the one who changed that to May. And I.
And then agreed with the comments that it,
She
No.
changed that from
Different
shall
one.
to may.
oh,
Mhm.
oh, so the preferred was to go to May.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why Rapunzel said no changes to the section.
I gotcha. Okay. Okay. well, I'll follow that advice, unless somebody feels strongly it needs to say shall.
To my understanding, when I was doing this before, may and shall are basically the same thing.
In certain instances, yes.
Yeah.
And in this case,
May
I think it's
is-
may because there are other things that have to go on.
Oh, multiple steps.
Before the permit can be issued.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all of those things have to be done, and then it can be issued or may be issued. It's a little confusing. but-
Yes. Oh, right, and it continues on at there's more narrative in our memo, the shall, may not, shall not are equivalent of expressions, yeah. So leave it as may, as published, right? Everybody go with that? All right. C, there were no, I don't think there were any comments. Next section is 160. The first revision, it said official action, and then it said official action again, and it was scratch official action, because that's the name of the section. All officials, departments, and employees, they added the word and. And it was the same, it was a shall and a may not, or similar. Any comments on that? Okay. And then scratch severability.
Scratch B and C.
Yeah, let's see. And notice. All right. Takes us to 155.1.3, definitions.
Are these definitions the same definitions we use in other?
No, I was thinking about
ordinances?
that, because
We need to make
this
sure.
started way before we
Right.
were doing that on. Now, having said that, there are some in here that are new definitions that are driven by state definitions. Some of these, and that's in the memo, this is like bed and breakfast. I think, Melissa, you brought that up. And they said, that's the definition, the state's definition was 2 or more bedrooms, and somebody could live there and house somebody. So some of those came right from the state, and we have to follow their lead as far as the definition goes. Doesn't mean it's an allowed, in the definition, doesn't mean it's an allowed land use. It means that's the definition if you come to that, if that makes sense.
My concern is there anything in here that you're saying that the state mandates that we have to go back and change another ordinance because we used a different definition?
No, I don't, not that I know of, because
Okay.
there were just a few of those, like the definition of bed and breakfast versus
I think we did that.
short-term rental. There were things, a short-term rental is not a bed and breakfast, but a bed and breakfast can be considered a short-term rental, the way the definitions, and one of them is because it's very precise language that came from the state that predated the short-term rental phrase. So there were a couple of those that I know of, but,
I just want our definitions to be consistent.
Okay.
That's all I'm looking for.
okay. No, I agree. So the first one that is added is the definition of accessory dwelling unit, because we used to say accessory dwelling, and then in a different section, we talked about accessory dwelling units, and it didn't have a definition. And it was pointed out by our land use attorney that an accessory dwelling unit can be attached or detached. It's what some people call mother-in-law quarters, if you have a separate door and a separate unit with its own bathroom, and it's in the footprint of your house, that can still be considered an accessory dwelling unit. It doesn't have to be a separate building or an outbuilding. So this covers both.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would like to, because I looked at the city of Florence on this one, because
Yeah.
I had a hard time, again, justifying ADU, AD. So looking at the city of Florence's, they added as to where the water was going to be supplied from, the electricity, the utilities were going to be generated from, and they also added like the size in the definitions. And I don't know if that's something that we need to, or somewhere within latter part here, that we put that
Do
in.
they have a maximum or a minimum?
I
know
think
you
they had a
mentioned size.
maximum. I'd have to
What
look it
was
up
it?
again.
Do you remember?
No.
Okay.
These are like 3 a.m. conversations I had with myself,
No,
arguing
I
with
remember.
myself.
Your comment, you said, do we need a size? And I know when they adopted the new ordinance,
Yeah.
because most of their lots are much smaller. We're, at least in a new lot, is a 1 acre minimum. And in Florence, it might be 5,000 square foot. And
Yeah.
so,
It's limited later on,
yeah, that's what I thought. Ours does spell out
not in the
So,
definition, but
yeah.
what an ADU.
as far as what it is, right?
is
Right.
now.
But do we need to, I mean, I'm assuming, and I'm wanting to probably put it in here later, as to we need to justify where those things are going. So I just want to
It's
put
in
that
there.
into,
There's a
Yeah.
section
Okay.
devoted to ADUs.
haven't got through all of it, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah, there you go. And, yeah, so I think we get to the specifics later. The
Just because I
definition
did not
is,
remember it.
Okay.
So just so
It
you
goes
guys all
in
know.
For like square footage limits and all that.
yeah. All right, anything else on that page? We have 2 strikes. One was just accessory dwelling. And then administrative decision.
There's a lot of argument that they are 2 separate things. I mean, anywhere you look,
What's
there's
that?
people that say that ADs and ADUs are something
Well,
completely different.
And that's why,
It's
yeah,
a toss in one hand, toss in another.
so I guess when they disagree, they gotta, if you're in Dune City, you gotta use our definition, not the
Correct.
one you thought you used to use when you
I
lived in
think
Eugene.
it just varies from place to place.
Right, okay. And part of that challenge is ours, the stuff that's in here has been here a long time, and
Correct.
it probably isn't what's reflected in neighboring communities.
Correct.
All right, next page mine starts with adverse impact. There's, the first revision is point of clarity, arterial, added the word street, arterial street is, so we know we're not talking about body parts or something else. And then it had the definition of bed and breakfast, and we had an opinion from the attorney on that, right?
I don't see one.
I thought we did.
We took bed and breakfast out of here because it is now a use defined under your short-term rental.
And that was the definition came from the state, right? Was how the state defined bed and breakfast is, I believe it was,
I don't know, but bed and breakfasts are regulated under your short-term rental ordinance
Right.
now and not under this code.
okay,
We took it out.
understood. That makes sense. And then the other strikes were block length and boarding float. And some of the words in boathouse. And we reference Oregon regulations for the things that are on water. Any other comments on that page? I'm down to the bottom of the Bs.
Is that where Larry requested the seaplanes?
That was later,
That's
That's, yeah, later.
Docks.
yes. Seaplane base, I think. Does somebody have his notes handy?
I have his marked
Good, I
in
got too many
somewhere.
notes. All right.
They're on the memo.
Okay, we haven't got there yet. All right, it's under D. All right. Performance bond, it's guarantee instead of agreement.
Can I
Did I
go
skip
back?
something? Yeah,
No,
where you at?
I just have something that I want clarification
You
on.
have boathouse?
On
Okay.
boathouse. So a boathouse is a covered or enclosed structure used to store, shelter, protect a boat or boats or boating equipment. And it says a structure containing a dwelling that does not qualify as a boathouse. Is that, if it doesn't qualify as a boathouse, why is it under boathouse, is what my mind goes to.
Maybe just strike that whole sentence.
I think that's saying like if you put a kitchen and make it a dwelling, then you can't call that a boathouse.
That's the way I took it.
Okay,
good
so you're
question.
trying to say what is not a boathouse instead of just what is a boathouse.
So that's
It'd be
a,
better to say a boathouse cannot contain cooking, water, utilities.
Well, it's only a covered structure
Sleeping.
used to store or protect boats or boating equipment. So doesn't that mean, say you don't need anything else, you can't have anything else in it? It's just a plain structure?
I think similarly, like some people back, oh, I want to put a kitchen in my boathouse.
Maybe they may want to put a sink to clean their fish.
My
I don't know.
my guess is they're trying to make sure people don't turn a boathouse into
Into a house, right, convert it to a,
Yeah.
like a patio
In-law
cover that
unit.
gets converted to enclosed space.
Then can we use better words?
What's the definition of dwelling? There's your definition right there. Because if it's defined as a dwelling, then it can't be.
Well, we got into this before, dwelling unit, yeah, we have dwelling, yeah, that's where it gets into.
It comes
has-
back to that AD and ADU?
No, dwelling unit, that includes your house. That is something that has provisions for sleeping, eating, cooking,
Right.
sanitation.
The definition of dwelling was struck.
So does that need to say dwelling unit?
Yeah,
You know,
it's covered right there.
well, when we got into structures on the lake, we issue a permit, but they're regulated by the state because it's on the state's body of water that is within Dune City, so it's kind of a weird situation. Is that something that do you know, Rapunzel, is that something the state says you can't build those floating houses anymore on lakes, right? Do they allow that at all?
Not on our lakes, not on our lakes.
Gotcha.
That's,
So I think that was our point, was a boathouse is for your boat, and that's it, because
To my knowledge, you can't even get a permit anymore.
That's what I heard.
Am I
to
wrong?
build a boathouse, that's what I thought.
I've got one permit that was left on this lake that I bought from a guy here, but you can't even get those permits anymore from the state.
That's what I thought, it's just docks now,
Yeah,
right?
just docks. That's
So-
my understanding.
That's what I thought.
And we do have a definition of dwelling that says it has all the
Yeah, page
No.
12.
accoutrements to live in.
Well, dwelling is crossed out, and if you have dwelling here.
Oh, no. Oh, I gotcha.
It's dwelling unit.
I gotcha.
And
Oh, so
someone-
add the word
So
unit.
someone could say, this is, I don't have a dwelling because you don't have that.
Put the word
You have
unit
a
in there.
dwelling unit.
Put unit.
It says dwelling unit, the definition, a living facility.
Right, you can't have that in a
Yeah.
boathouse.
So they're just getting rid of the dwelling
No, no.
because that's the
Up here.
definition.
So dwelling was struck as a separate thing, and now we have a definition. Dwelling unit is a living facility, includes provision for
Yeah.
sleeping, eating, cooking, sanitation.
Yeah.
And you can't have that in a
Required by the
boathouse.
Uniform Building Code.
So does that make sense? If we put the word unit in there, then it jives with our definition.
Then it goes with your
There
definitions.
you go. So add the word unit. So it'd be dwelling unit. Because you're right, we struck the one that was just labeled dwelling. That makes sense? All right. Now we good on that page?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay? Now we get to bollards, performance bonds, and guarantees. That's just modern lingo from bonding companies. Boulevard, we scratched the section, the note that said C-section, because I think it says, no, Rapunzel, the street sections, that was a take it out and then put it back, we decided to put it back.
I'm sorry, we were.
Street section, we get the boulevard, it says C section 155, 3.4, subsection 1F, and we originally took out cross sections, and then we had comments, and you said just put them back. We had arterial, boulevard, collector,
That comes later on.
right, but is that the red that was strucken out?
Where it says C section 155.
Yeah, does that stay stricken out?
Well, I'm not really sure.
You know what, I think it does, because we don't reference sections in the first one, we got to arterial, and it doesn't say.
Yeah, try not to reference.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically, we're looking at the definition.
Right, because it's just a definition. Yes, got it. So that's fine. The next edition, there's no other strikeouts until, and then in addition, the building official, which is a new, more complete definition. Anybody have a concern with that? Those follow the terms in the building code and things like that as well. All right. And there's a strikeout of a reference to Oregon regulations that's struck, because it's just a definition. Next page, we struck cemetery, we have none. Cleanup on childcare facility.
So again, if we're striking out, are we putting ORSs in those?
Not in definitions.
So we need to
Except-
strike out that then?
Well, childcare is defined by ORS, so we're just referencing that one pure and simple.
Okay.
I think there's a couple things that were defined by ORS that we just use their definition.
As long as we're saying it's defined by, okay.
Yeah, and in the past, we had some where it had originally the words that were in there, copy and pasted, and then that section changed in state law and ours didn't. And so a lot of these
Gotta be careful.
we're 16 years out of date. That's what's driving some of the
Unless you have the
revisions.
administrative laws coming through that are starting to
Right.
change very, very quickly.
Right. All right, we struck the definition of church. Does that show up somewhere else, or is that because we didn't have a church?
Shows up under places of worship.
Got it. All right, next one is code enforcement. We struck the word officer, it's code enforcement, the city administrator of the city or their designee. Because there's no person with a title of officer here.
Well, that matches our other definition that we had. So,
The next strikeout is concept assistance, an informal meeting. Any comments? We're up to definition of conditional use.
We have C section 155.4.4. Are we striking that out? Again, it's referencing a section.
Good question.
That's the whole section. I mean, that's where that whole.
That's, the whole section is for conditional uses? Okay. So yeah, I mean, you could, because it's just a definition, and then if you go to the table of contents, you'll find the sections. I'm good either way, but that's a good call. Be consistent, just strike the,
consistent
I
is
think
best.
I
Let's
think
do
we
that.
should strike it.
let's just have just the
If we ever had to
definition,
renumber it.
because
then
it
we'd have
had,
to-
exactly,
Then we'd be gone.
if one number changes, right, then this is off. So strike the word C, section 155.4.4, so it's just the definition. The next was the definition of conifer.
I'm assuming are those definitions going to go into the 154 when we redo those? I think they're good to know. I mean, some people may not be knowledgeable on the different types of trees.
This is probably not the place to come for that. And I think when we get to 154, we talk about trees.
Okay.
We don't care if it's evergreen.
I know, I just would
Right,
like
you
to
know what I
see
mean?
it at that point.
It talks about minimum size. If it's a minimum size, you map it, so.
Okay.
The definition of conservation easement, which is not to say you may not have conservation easement, but that definition being struck. Page 20. Any other changes on that page?
Day nursery, is there a reason why we need to have that, or is that something we really have to have? I don't think I've ever heard
I-
childcare facilities be called day nurseries
hadn't
in the
either.
last 20, 30 years.
I'm fine if we just strike it, because we have
Just strike
childcare,
it.
and we have a state definition of that, and what's, that's fine, that's a, yeah, simplification, just take one more out. We have a lot of them in here that are probably never used or referred to.
So you want to strike day nursery?
Yeah.
I agree.
Just that whole line, and then
Because it's already defined back on page 10, so.
we do have, under developable, we do have a reference to ORS, and it changed.
I was just going to say, it changed.
It's going to change again, right? I mean, it went from 197.295 to 197A.015. Do we just say per ORS?
I think it's
Because
best
you got to
to
look
not
at the
put
current
numbers.
version, right? You got to look
Me
up.
too.
And they recode those every couple of years.
I know.
I know the OARs get coded every
Okay,
2 or
so
3.
under developable, Lila, just the numbers. It's just per ORS. So whatever's adopted at that time when you look it up is what applies.
So you just add, put the ORS in there, comma, or latest version.
You might want to have it be ORS 197. The chapter doesn't change that much, but the subsections do.
That's true. The subsections do, but yeah, the
Gotcha. Just say
ORS
197.
197.
Okay. Okay, we have a clarification, we have some words added to the word district, and then we get to dock. Well, division of land, there's no proposed changes. And under dock, Mr. Farnsworth would like to add seaplanes to the definition. Mooring of boats,
So he's just adding seaplanes after boats.
comma, seaplane. Okay. Anybody got a problem with seaplanes? If you do, you gotta talk to Larry.
Did someone say you couldn't moor a seaplane in this dock? What about jet skis? You gotta put in every watercraft?
Seaplane, well, it has recreational, other recreational, but we do have historic seaplane base, so,
We do.
and it's plural, in case we get more than one. Seaplanes. Then we
There used
have,
to be a seaplane over there on Mohegan,
yeah,
in that gray house across from
yeah, from the
the.
RV park, yeah.
It still has a seaplane garage.
Actually, I think there's a couple of them. When we're on the lake, we usually typically see 1 or 2 of them. I don't know whether they reside there, but still used.
Yeah. All right, we have
There's a
a,
seaplane garage there, right there.
There's a couple of them on the Wohink still. The garages are still there.
bunch more strikeouts. Anybody have any concerns, comments? This gets us to the dwelling unit. A living facility includes provision for sleeping, eating, cooking, and sanitation as required by the building code. Everybody okay with that definition?
Yep.
Okay.
Can we strike family daycare, see child care facility? That's another one that's
Sure.
just another daycare,
Right.
family daycare,
It's-
child daycare.
It's all same definition, right? ORS 657, 16 or fewer children. I think so, just because we have the one above in red. Mine was being, yeah, strike the next one. Family daycare. We don't need the definition.
And what about established residential area? I mean,
And that's just pointing into another section. Yeah, probably. It has its own section, so you could probably
Yeah.
strike that.
Was that just going back to page 10? Child care facility, right?
Yeah, they're all the same. Yeah, it's a state,
They're all the
under
same
state law,
thing.
so just leave it as childcare
Yeah.
and not have all the different,
We shouldn't have put down every
What you
single
call
name
it.
somebody might call it.
yeah, I'm fine with that. What is, you just bring up, Melissa?
Established
Oh.
residential area?
It just says.
It doesn't even have a definition, right? It's
Doesn't.
pointed to a section, so we're just sticking to definitions. Line it out?
I think so.
I think so too. Okay? It's just getting shorter all the time, Jack. Simplifying.
Thank you.
Fire apparatus, access road. So this used to be just a reference, now it has an actual definition.
Okay, we have another reference at the end. Do we need that?
Yeah, to the fire code,
How often does that change?
every 4 years. And 15 is not the current. I think there is now a 2024, so we should just say International Fire Code. Rapunzel, do we adopt a specific version of the fire code?
Not that I know of.
So we should say latest version, because the 2015 is a number of versions out of sync now.
I don't think they update it all that often, but it would be safer to say most recent version.
I think it's about every 4 years. I just reviewed this in another location, and the state said you have to adopt the new version within like 2 years or something, and that was a 2026, because the 2024 is the most current. So, yeah, I know there's a newer than a 15, so let's just say International Fire Code latest,
Version.
yeah, latest edition, or latest revision, whatever, yeah, because it is an ongoing, it's usually 2 and 4 year cycles depending on how big, and then they give the different fire departments and whoever, fire marshals, time to review and adopt the changes, so. What do you prefer, latest edition or latest version?
I don't have any. What's the appropriate term? What do they call them?
I don't know.
Versions? Additions? I would think it would probably be addition.
Okay,
Yeah, additions, I think.
sounds official, latest edition. Next, we added the word dock under gangway, the connection to a dock or
Functional
boat.
classification. What is that? I mean, classification
Oh.
street, C Street.
It says
Why can't we just
C
say?
So, functional classification is like, is it an arterial, a collector, a neighborhood? And when
But
you
it
read the
says
definitions, so yeah,
street.
you could strike that by itself, because when you get to street, it'll say
So
includes
can we just
arterials,
strike
collectors.
that one?
Yeah, you could scratch that. That's not a very helpful
It's not.
definition. C Street. I went to college for 4 years. I need a little more than that. Come on. It's been reduced to C streets. All right. 2 definitions of grade. Strike the word guest house, because in theory we now have a clean definition.
How about, oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, wait.
Highway, C Street.
Okay, take it out.
And then
There's a
C-section.
section under block.
Yeah.
C-section.
So yeah, just take out the blue. We don't need that. We're not going to do that, right? And we have some deletions. Human scale development design. These are all planning terms. We have some that are deleted. Kindergarten. Okay, I want to talk about kitchen. We had a lot of discussion about this with planning commission, a lot, and it went with what is a dwelling unit or an accessory dwelling unit or a livable. And I think it should be and, it should be cooking and a sink, a refrigerator, because it's a or, and it is, we've got people with fish cleaning stations on the side of their house, and I have a refrigerator in my carport, and I don't want somebody to say my carport with running, because I have a hose, right, running water in a refrigerator became a kitchen on accident, because there's no cooking that goes on in my carport. It's just a an outside refrigerator. And the building code is all about the hookup for a permanent cooktop range, that sort of thing, a 230 volt plug and, correct me if I'm wrong, permanent gas or 230
I
volt.
just built a house, and they already had a house, and to make sure we actually had to take out the stove, and there was a gas, and we actually had to take out the gas.
Right, so that you didn't have two stoves.
And the exhaust fan.
Okay,
We had to take all that out of the one house so that it was considered just a guest house.
right. So, and I agree, if you don't have the full cooking, that's saying or and having just a refrigerator, and
Well, just because you
and
have a
kitchen sink.
refrigerator, I mean, you can have a refrigerator in your garage.
Well, it's and a kitchen sink, it's and a sink or drain line, so, but we went around and around and around with the planning commission trying to figure out, what is it we're trying to solve? And now we have a definition of accessory dwelling unit, because we didn't at the time. And there was some past discussion about what we should or shouldn't have, and it didn't necessarily come from the planning commission or the city council. So I didn't like it at the time on the planning commission either, but I think it should be and. You need all those things to be considered a second kitchen, in my opinion. And the drain line size is, if it was current construction to code, the kitchen sink would have 1.5 inches and the bathroom sink would have 1.25 inches. But this potentially applies to structures that are 75 years old, and all bets are off on what sizes the plumbing's going to be. So to say it's simply 1.5 inches trap diameter is, I don't know, a bit picky for my taste, but.
So you're proposing to strike out some wording? in
Well, I was just going to
section
say
two?
and, instead of 1 or 2, it's 1 and 2. You have cooking, built-in appliance, and sink, and refrigerator exceeding 5 cubic feet, right? The little ones, like you put under your counter, you have one in your bedroom, usually 5-6 cubic feet versus the kitchen ones, 17 to 25.
But what I'm asking is, are you proposing to change the wording here too?
No, if you just put and, it covers everything.
So you're just proposing to change this right here?
Yeah, I think we're a bit overly specific with 1.5 inch, because that's what the current code requires for a kitchen sink. But if you have a 25-year-old house, I don't know.
In order to make it a kitchen, if I'm not mistaken, you would have to bring it up to the current code, correct? So, I mean, you don't have a
No,
choice at that.
this is stuff, well, that's my point. Some of this exists, and we never had a definition.
Correct.
So having an or means potentially a
One or the other,
sink,
yes. To make
is a
it, yeah,
definition
no,
of a
I'm
kitchen.
for the and.
right? Okay.
But I don't,
And we
there's
could
not a
just,
choice of, I don't think we have to put the measurements.
no,
on the
and you're right, we could
definitions.
simplify that and saying it's
Yes.
cooking and a sink
You just put a
and
cooking appliance and
refrigerator.
a sink,
The
Yeah.
sink, the waste.
without all these other
drain,
words in
and the
it.
refrigerator.
Mayor, what's the major objection to 2 dwelling units on a property?
I don't know. I asked that question when I was on the planning commission, and
Why do we?
because I asked on the planning commission for some direction from the mayor and council. It was like, we're spending, as Rapunzel, we spent a lot of time beating our head against the wall looking at definitions.
If they're both facilities.
And we're not sure why it's so important.
There's 2 dwelling facilities on a property.
I don't think we do anymore if we're, as long as they don't turn into short-term rentals, the public didn't seem to care. If we're on,
They should turn it.
if we're on, if going forward, you're on a 1 acre minimum lot, it's not a setback issue or a fit issue. There are some, if you're looking backwards, like in Westlake, there's some smaller lots where it may not fit. We're not talking about violations of setbacks or code. We're talking about if it fits, this is what the definition is. I'm with you,
Why
like,
do we care if they?
why do we even
have
care?
functioning
Yeah, I don't.
Kitchens and if they meet code?
I don't.
The only place that kitchen comes up is in the definition or the description of an accessory building.
And dwelling unit.
Well, that just doesn't say kitchen, that says like cooking facilities.
Right.
doesn't give you a definition, it just implies that a human knows what the cooking appliance is.
Yeah,
And I wonder if
no,
there's a good reason why.
and to your point, I'm not sure why it became such a hot topic.
I know that. The county will not let out two residents with a kitchen and two structures that totally they
But they
Right.
don't control,
won't. And I don't know why.
they don't
Right.
control the city. though.
Exactly, but we
I'm
could.
just saying, I don't know why.
I guess we need to ask them why.
No, we don't care, because we got home rule. They don't in the county, but you can in the city. That's why we have to have our own
I was
definition.
wondering if there was a good reason.
Control freaks, that's generally, I mean, I'm with the government, I can say that, because we like to control everything. Go ahead.
I was here at a meeting where, I mean, that was something that I addressed, the same question we're all asking, why can't people have a refrigerator or a place to cook?
Right.
And I had argued at my mother-in-law's house or something, who, your mother-in-law doesn't want to share a kitchen with you, you
Right.
don't want to share one with her. And we all have different daytime habits, so maybe you like to get up at 6 and she likes to get up at 9.
Yeah,
But anyway, Jamie said, she said, well, that's the way it is. The city gets to decide, and that's the way it is. So Jamie wanted that. Because when some of us questioned her, she was adamant that it should be that way. So there's your answer. I
Okay.
know that's what she told us when we questioned it. So we asked the same question.
If
okay.
there's a good reason, good, but if it meets code, why do we care?
That's a good question, because that's where I'm at. I'm like, if it meets, I'm okay.
Well, some of it might be because you have a septic system.
It has to meet code.
It still has to be, exactly.
You have to
Then
meet
you're adding
code.
bedrooms too, and a system can only.
Your septic
so
has to
much.
meet
So
the code for
sometimes that
bedrooms.
could be restricted to.
Yeah, well, but that implies that it's, you know, an illegal renovation that overwhelms the system. But do we, if someone is sizing water, wastewater,
I mean, that's like.
Does anyone care?
If you have a 2-bedroom house and then you have a 1-bedroom detached house.
right, even a small septic
That's a
covers
Your
it.
septic
bedroom.
meet- Your septic
Right.
meets
Yeah,
code.
Right.
That meets a 3-bedroom house.
Right, right,
And we're allowing for accessory dwelling units.
right.
So-
So now, exactly, so we allow it, so
Same thing.
So
Uh,
why does,
do we even need this much detail?
I'm there with you, Rich. Why do we have to put all this? Can't we just say a cooking appliance
don't
in a
have.
sink?
That's
And
what I
leave it
said.
at that. And
That's
not
what I
put all
said.
this
I don't like all this
cooking
work
rooms,
about
built-in
kitchen.
microwaves, 18
That's-
inches in depth, and, I mean, come on, let's just make it simple.
It just,
Word count.
so the,
Let's go from, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lines to 4.
figure out what a kitchen is.
Yeah, this is a definition, not a full-on,
So if you said,
Description.
an area within a structure that's used or designed for preparation of
Cooking.
preparation or cooking food contains both of the following.
Yes.
Cooking appliance, single refrigerator, or all of the following, or something, because this is the definition.
correct.
We already skipped, we got past the part where we said you could have an accessory dwelling unit, and so
That's all I'm
then we get to
saying.
Jack's point, if you got 2 bedrooms and 1 bedrooms and your septic size, right, then it can all work.
This is just the definition.
Right, okay.
That's all it is, just the
That's what I'm saying,
definition.
right, because I got the same.
It's like
I got
we're
the
trying to
same
justify
answer.
what all this is, and it's like, this is just the definition.
I got the same answer Jeannie did, because it's always been like that. And I go, yeah, well, was that from the mayor and council or the residents, or just because that's how it's always been,
If
so.
there's a darn good reason, yeah, put it out there, but if not, get rid of it.
It's like an urban legend. It was put here for, no one remembers why, but it's always been done like this. Because somebody's grandma used to do it this way, I don't know.
Just be like that it contains a
Okay.
cooking appliance, such as, but not, such as an oven, a convection oven, blank,
Contains-
blank, blank,
The following.
and a sink.
I was going
Okay.
to say just the first one and then add sink, waste drain line, and a
Just think.
refrigerator.
Just, well, by definition, the sink would have a
Has to
drain
have a
line if
drain
it's a
line,
sink.
yeah.
Well,
Otherwise, it's a stainless steel box.
I'm just
Cesspool.
giving my
Yeah,
opinion.
well,
You don't
okay.
have to laugh.
Okay, well, no, I'm not laughing, but,
why wouldn't we just go an area with a structure that is used or designed to be used for preparation or cooking of food that contains one or that contains
the following.
an approved kitchen may have more than one sink, stove, oven, refrigerator in the same
Oh,
room.
jump right to the last sentence.
Just
Yeah, it
jump
covers
right to the
everything.
last one and get rid of everything else.
I'm good
and
with that.
covers-
I am too.
That
That way
covers
we're not
everything.
measuring drain lines and
Well, I don't want to measure.
If it's a new construction, you're measuring, I mean, you're specing it on the plan, right? It would meet the current plumbing code, but,
Does that make sense?
okay.
So that contains, and then skip down to more
last
than
sentence.
one? Because you don't have to use that whole last part of the sentence, right, Rich?
That contains, and then go to the very last, an approved kitchen.
Do you
But we don't have to
care
say
about
that,
capacity
an
of the
approved
refrigerator?
kitchen.
Yeah.
I got whatever's on sale at Costco. I didn't think about how many cubic feet it was.
We have a 1 cubic foot refrigerator, so does that count? That's why I'm asking. But it's for him to keep his bait and stuff in because I don't want it in my refrigerator.
Good for you.
It just,
But you're right.
that contains, how did you word that again, Rich?
He just jumped to the top.
I know where he jumped
But
to,
if you
but
use
he
the
cut
whole
off that,
sentence,
for-
it's
yeah,
awkward. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
I think you go to sink, stove, oven,
And it contains one sink, stove, oven, refrigerator in the same room?
or you
Is that
could
what
just
you
go to
proposed?
past one. It doesn't matter if you have double sinks or single sinks.
Contains a sink, stove,
Contains sink,
Just
stove,
sink.
oven, or refrigerator in the
Okay.
same room.
There you go. That's a kitchen.
there we go.
I think Rapunzel has feelings about this.
Go ahead, Rapunzel. You have a comment?
So all of this lengthy definition was discussed ad nauseum
I know.
before the idea to include ADUs in
Right,
code.
right.
So
Because it was originally to be
Easily
limiting,
be
right? Because we were trying to say,
Yeah.
your house has a kitchen with these things,
Yes.
and then you can't have them in your accessory. But if we're gonna,
Yeah.
if we've
no,
adjusted, then yeah, we don't have, there's nothing to fear.
Yeah, no.
If
I
you're allowed
totally
to
get
have
it.
two, if you can get two permitted.
It just shows the
Makes sense.
growth that I'm
Simplify.
proud that we've gone through.
What else? What are you thinking, Susan?
Well, you didn't answer the question. Do you want, is it any side refrigerator or not?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I said, no, I didn't care about the size.
So you're going to count my 1 cubic foot refrigerator?
No, I'm not gonna count them at all.
Okay.
Because it turns out my garage had a refrigerator left in it that I didn't even know, and it's like 5 cubic feet. And I think there's 1 bottle of water in it. But it's not a kitchen, I promise.
Fish bait.
I just,
And if you want a bigger one, I'll give it to you, because I heard it the other day. I went in the garage and it was
it's
humming.
this
and I was
big.
like,
It's
oh, yeah, I got
one
new
of the dormitory
refrigerators
rooms,
in that.
and-
Yeah,
because I want
mine's,
his bait
mine's this big.
in the garage.
No, I don't blame you.
Long time too, Mayor.
Yeah, okay. We move to page 15.
So it's got the microwave down there, and got a dwelling unit there too.
La, 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 la. Stop. How big's your microwave?
I don't know, but she makes me put it on top of the fridge and then she put it in there.
I won't let him put it in the garage.
Okay, if you only make microwave popcorn, it doesn't count.
No, it's not plugged in. I don't want him to use it.
Okay.
It's not allowed in my house.
As Melissa pointed out, it is 8:03. We made it to land division. Oh, really, if there's no other
Can't we just go to the top of 16?
words to change, yes, we're to 16.
Page 16.
Legislative decision, 155.1.3, legislative decision. We will start again in 2 weeks at that point.
Well, if we're going to start at 16, land use, do we need that definition there?
Which one?
Land use zone, it's
Let's
just,
strike that.
Okay,
just a bunch of words making up a line.
there you go, I'm with you.
Thank you.
Strike it. Okay, so we'll close the, no, we'll continue the public hearing.
I've been trying to figure it out.
We'll close the agenda, or we'll continue the agenda item to the next meeting, next scheduled meeting, which is maybe, no, is it? I thought it was the 3rd. No, you're right, 6th, I'm sorry, 6th. We'll start over on the 6th.
We have a meeting last Wednesday this month.
Nope, it's 1st and 3rd only. It's a bonus.
Okay.
You good?
I'm not ready.
I'm good.
So, I'm not sorry for that.
I was like, we got 3 this week.
No, heaven forbid.
Are you continuing the public hearing then?
Yeah, so yes, we'll end for tonight, but we won't close the public hearing. We're continuing it to the next meeting and continuing this item to the 6th of May. And we'll continue the discussion and continue to take comments. And with that, we'll do it real quick for the good of the order. Duke, we'll start with you. You got any?
Once again, I would like to thank LaPuzzle for her hard work and her good memory in helping us get through this. She was referred to many times tonight, and I think that helped us a lot.
Second that. Melissa?
Not much, but I did just want to say that I did go back and there was a public, or a comment made by someone in the audience that our sign for Dune City entering, coming from Florence was missing. At least that's how I interpreted it, and it is truly missing.
The south.
So I would like to see it get replaced.
You gotta put a camera on it, because it's continually stolen, because people put it in their garages. This has happened for years.
Igor.
I called the county, and they're supposed to call me back about the signs.
But how many, it's been stolen numerous times.
Well, not only that, my people of my neighborhood would like a new Lake Drive sign too, because apparently it's been shot up so many you can no longer see what Lake Drive says. It just says nothing.
Is that in county or is that the city street? It's, the first piece is county, right? Lake is county?
I'm part of Dune City.
No, but one of those streets is county, isn't it?
Ford Way and Lake Drive are
Both
part
city?
of both city.
Okay.
Those are my.
Well, you can have a city address in a county road. We
But those are spots that
a combination.
I
Okay.
control from my area,
All right.
or that we're supposed to, that, I thought we were still doing, but I don't know if we do or not.
Okay. Thank you. See if we can get you a sign.
Thank you.
All right, Susan.
I'm good, thank you.
Rich, anything? For the good order?
No.
I'm good. Chris?
I don't.
What are you guys doing down there?
Just drawing.
Oh, okay.
Playing.
Thanks. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Anybody, all in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned at 8:06. Thank you. Well.